So you've got a brand new bike and you're so delighted because it's beautiful, it has a lot of gears, it's super lightweight, you can't wait to show it to your friends. It has all the bells and whistles that everybody's dreaming about. But little did you know that you've been fooled. Look, we've all been there, dreaming about that perfect bike that's still missing from the collection. That's called the N+1 syndrome, because the perfect number of bikes is always one more than the one that you already own. Because of course you need a commuter, you need a weekend warrior, you need a beater bike, you need a mountain bike, and of course a gravel bike just in case. There is a counterintuitive law that governs happiness in bike ownership. That excitement that you're getting out of owning a brand new bike is not going to last forever. Maybe a couple of days or a couple of weeks. If you're lucky, maybe a couple of months. Despite having the smallest channel, I still get offered a lot of new bikes to test out. And I think all in all I have ridden about 15 or maybe even 20 bikes for commuting in the last 6 years. But if I consider when I was the happiest riding my bike, I have to go back to about 6.5 years ago when I started bike commuting. I started on a very heavy, very inefficient bike that wasn't even my size, and in fact I didn't even own it. It was a loaner bike. But it gave me freedom. It gave me that freedom that I experienced as a child when I first sat on my bike, and my horizon just broadened and my world has opened up. And this time I fell in love again with practical cycling. And cycling became an inspiration for this channel and for my blog as well. So when I rediscovered cycling, I loved that everything was new and everything was an adventure. I had to figure out everything. I had to learn about bike comfort. I had to learn about the perfect route to get there. I have to learn about timing, the proper gears to use to not be too sweaty but not too cold either. And as the seasons changed, I had to figure out what to wear when. I needed to learn about myself, how my body handles stress, and it was all new and it was a fun process. And then came the desire of owning my own bike. So I went from the loaner bike to owning a bike. And that was very exciting too, because I spent a lot of time researching and getting to know bikes, and I became best friends with GCN. If I went to the toilet, I could spend 45 minutes watching nothing else but GCN videos. If I went to sleep, before falling asleep, I spent about an hour watching GCN videos, and I learned everything about tire pressure and bike fitting and bike size and so many things, but I definitely misunderstood a couple of things. For example, I was fascinated by the small changes that they made and the seconds that they gained on a 10-mile stretch. And I thought to myself, wow, just small changes can gain you seconds. Imagine, I really need a super efficient bike because I might be able to shave 30-40 seconds on my 10-mile commute. What a difference that would make. And of course, that could not be further from the truth. It's actually ridiculous if I think about it, because 30 seconds in a commute disappears like nothing. You don't even notice it. So thankfully, my financial resources were quite limited, but I still wanted to get the best bang for the buck. So I wanted hydraulic disc brakes, I wanted a carbon fork, I wanted to keep it under 10 kilograms, and I wanted to make sure that it's available in Hungary and of course not secondhand. After about 2 months, I settled for a bike. Did I become faster? Did I become happier? Did commuting become a better experience? I leave that up to your imagination. The truth is, I didn't regret that purchase because finally I owned a bicycle that was completely my own. I could return the loaner bike and I was able to make changes to the bike, and the beauty was that it grew with me. From a shiny brand new bike, it became my very own bike after I made some changes to it and added some accessories. And to this very day, it's probably the bike that is still closest to my heart. Ever since then, I have been tempted several times to get a new bike, and for the most part, I resisted the temptation. But sometimes, well, the offer was just too good to pass up. And of course, when a bike company reaches out to you and they want to send you a brand new e-bike for testing, it's hard to say no. But if I have learned one important thing, it is this: you're never going to find the perfect bicycle. And you know why? Because the perfect bicycle just doesn't exist. The perfect bike is probably the one that you already own. You see, the cycling industry wants you to believe that your happiness on the bike directly depends on how much money you spent on that bicycle. But this cannot be further from the truth. Yes, you need a decent bike, and the cheapest bike is probably not going to last very long, and it's not going to be comfortable. But you don't need the most expensive and highest end bike to be happy riding. During my commute, I have made friends with many people, and I often stop to talk to people. And the 4 happiest people I see riding regularly all ride just regular bicycles, nothing fancy. All the people with shiny bikes, they just come and go. They're like mercenaries. But these people made the bike their very own. And you see them smiling and radiant, and they're just so happy to get out and ride. So if you're looking for happiness in getting your next bicycle, I propose you take a step back and you really think about what it is that you need and what it is that you want and what's the shiny thing that is distracting you. I have spent a lot of time thinking about the trademarks of a good commuter bike, and I could come up with 4 characteristics that every good commuter bike should have. If your commuter has them, you're going to have the perfect bike for your ride. But there are also some things that can ruin your bike ride really fast. Faster than you fall over the handlebars if your front wheel gets stuck in the tram tracks. And that's really bad. And I condensed everything in a neat little video for your enjoyment right here. So I hope to see you there.